Come on, we're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
Man! Hey, listen. If we're going, shouldn't I have a gun?
No.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
Cannot complete your call as dialed.
One more day to Halloween. One more day to Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
What the fuck is going on, man?
This is not a test. Welcome, one and all, to the final broadcast of the 31 Days of Halloween challenge on the Horror Livestream's Matter Show. I hope you can hear me. It's bloody hot in here. I'm Voss, and this is my homeboy Pete.
Hey, how you
How's
doing?
it going, man?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. I've been looking forward to this show all the week. No, what I was going to say. You might have to forgive me very shortly. I might have to take my teeth out because I've discovered I can't really talk very well. And inside my hands here, it's kind of filling up like swimming pools. So I may be in a state of undress as we go along, Bass. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah. I'm not sure we thought this one out very well, Pete, with the costumes today.
Totally. It is hot as hell.
Yeah, it just doesn't work, dude. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Right, man, Pete. So, as I said, welcome to everybody. Welcome, everybody. It's nice to have you here. It's what week is it today? It's Halloween-themed movies week. This final week on the 31 Days of Halloween. And can you hear me all right, Pete? Am I talking okay?
You're a wee bit muffly, mate, but apart from that, that's it,
I think.
Go for it, mate. Aye, go for it. I'm gonna take these teeth out as well. There we go.
Yeah, so it's customary that before we go to the movies that we watched this week, Halloween themed, we talk about the movies we saw this week. And I guess the big movie this week was Barbarian. And did you see Barbarian, Pete? And what did you think of it?
I did. I watched it. I watched it on Friday night. Do you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. I have to say the trailer sent me down a very dark and lonely path, you know, of where this movie was going to go. And I was pleased to say that I was completely wrong. I was watching it with my my partner Ruth and my daughter. And, you know, my partner Ruth and my daughter were both saying, Bill Skarsgård's, he's a bad man. And I was thinking to myself, you know, he's a good man. He seems like a nice dude. You know what I mean? I couldn't see anything wrong with him or anything like that. But like I said, the movie sent me down an incorrect path as per the trailer. And I was really pleased it did. I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. It was, I like a movie where I don't know where it's going, essentially, where, you know, in a good way. I thought Bill Skarsgård, it was excellent. Justin Long was great in it as a completely dislikable person in it. I thought everybody involved was great, you know, especially that homeless dude as well who tries to help out. I thought, mate, I had a blast with it. It's a proper 8 out of 10 film for me. Like, I'll be watching this movie again for sure. What about yourself,
it's been
mate?
on our radar for a few weeks. Yeah, let me just take this sticker off. I'm sweating inside. Yeah, it's been on our radar for a few weeks, and I was saying each week, even though I hadn't seen the trailer for it, you know, I heard it was like a slow burn type movie. So I was, you know how I feel about those. So I was in two minds whether I was going to enjoy it. And then I watched it, and you know what, man? I had an awesome time as well. It is a really, really good film. and
Yeah.
I'll highly recommend it to everyone. They should go see this movie. It's really, really good. It's got a great setup to it. It's weird. It's not like I subsequently watched the trailers for it, and they do that thing that they used to do with like Paranormal Activity, where they show the audience and the jump scares and things. It's nothing like that. Like it's nothing like that. Like that sort of thing. It's just a really interesting story. It's kind of in two halves, isn't it? So you get the first half, and it moves along, and it's just very mysterious. You don't know what's happening. A little bit creep up here and there, and then you get a good build at the end, which is the horror bit of it, and then it starts again with another story that totally relates, and then both stories meet at the end, and then you get another belt of horror at the end. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, I was super surprised. I wasn't expecting it. I think that just goes to show, I can't enjoy movies even if I go in thinking I don't think I'm gonna like this. But I just rolled with it, and goddamn, it is a good film. Everyone should watch this movie. It's a good time, man. I thought it was time well spent. I'm really happy I saw it. It's ace, man. I'd give it a solid 7.5. I really, really liked it because it was just so interesting, man. Even the bit of horror, and there's a lot in there that ain't horror, but it's just super interesting, and the payoffs are very, very nice. And the witchy thing, no, it's not. I know it's not witch, but the creepy thing. Is it just me, or did it look just like the one from Wreck at the end of Wreck?
It totally looks like the one from Wreck.
Up in the loft in Wreck.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same.
It totally looks like the one from Wreck.
But I thought that was cool as well.
No,
that was a good time.
Exactly
Happy with the Barbarian.
Yeah. No, exactly the same for me. I mean, I had a feeling it might be good, but not as good as it was. Yeah,
absolutely, 100% me the same as well. I was like, I was definitely had second thoughts whether I was going to like this, and I totally did. So what else did you watch this, Pete? I can tell you I'd watched Two Witches, which you recommended last week. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I haven't. No, it's I've taken on a free trial from Arrow, so it's sat there waiting for me. So I hope to watch it tonight, maybe after this, unless you tell me something really bad about it. Is it good, Vas?
It's decent, man. It's super decent film.
Is it?
I liked it. I mean, it was good. It was good fun. And it's a bit like Barbarian. There's two stories, but the stories are like totally connected,
right?
And but it's good. It's a good like witchy fun. And I tell you what, it's quite scary in places, quite creepy in places, and I tell you what, there's a lot of gurning in there, witches pulling horrible faces, and you would think it would be really goofy, and it is at times, but a lot of the times at work, man, just people pulling faces, like a witch going, and you're like, so sometimes it is a bit goofy, but it works a lot of the time. So I was really impressed with it. It's a good film. It's a good watch. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a keeper. Like when it comes out I wouldn't rush out to buy it, but I had a good time with that as well. And I'll give you one bit of advice that I got from this movie and many, many other horror films. I tell you what, dude, if you're having a conversation on the street and you decide to cross the road, I tell you what, mate, and continue the conversation. What I would do is I would finish the conversation, then cross the street, because nothing good can happen from it when you're talking to somebody who's on the sidewalk and you're crossing the street. I tell you what, mate, it's not going to end well. So please finish. This is my public service announcement for everybody. If you're going to talk on the sidewalk, finish the conversation, turn around, look both ways, use the green cross code, and cross the road, and you'll be fine. Because I've seen that in too many horror films now. It's a proper trope that now on horror films of a vehicle coming out of nowhere and mowing somebody down. But it's going to happen because they're having a conversation and they're in the middle of the road and they're totally not looking where they're going. And you're thinking, they shouldn't be doing that. Like, and then boom. Anyway, yeah, man, go see it. I definitely worth a watch. That, Pete. It was good.
Okay, definitely gonna watch that, mate.
Cool, man. I like it when I see movies you haven't seen yet. I feel good. I feel superior.
You beat me to it, man. You beat me to it.
You the one who recommended it as well.
I know. Well, to be honest, this week kind of got away from us. There's quite a lot on at work, so I got through my movies that I needed to get through. but I toiled really to get, Barbarian. I literally had Barbarian, and I had to wait until Friday to have a time window to watch it.
Right.
So it's been quite
I've
tricky
done
this
that
week.
before as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks when that happens. I did manage to catch the first episode of Del Toro's new show on Netflix, the horror stories, the Cabinet of Curiosities. I watched
How is that?
I watched the first one of those, and it was very, very, very good. And I'm told the other episodes in this series are very good, and some really, really scary as well. So I'm looking forward to waxing through these. I'm off work tomorrow on Tuesday, so I'm going to do some serious cramming movie-wise, that kind of thing. All the family are at work and at school and everything like that, so I get to just sit there on my own in Zen and watch what I want to watch. So happy days. I will catch up, but yeah, there's so I haven't really done much watching, mate. Not as much as your good self this week. Have you seen anything else this week?
I have, mate, but I'll tell you what, let's go on to the comments, because there is a few there, and I don't want to miss these out, because I love these people in the comments. They're my favourite people. Let's start off. It's Hassan. Hi, mate. I hope you're feeling all right, mate. I'll tell you what, my son, if people probably don't know, but he hurt himself quite badly today, got burned, had to take him to 2 different hospitals. And but this kid, man, he's a trooper. He's so brave, man. The courage he showed, that the fortitude he showed while he was getting sorted out by the doctors and the nurses, man. I was so proud of him, man. I couldn't even look at it. His arm was all burnt like anything. But God, I'm so proud of the kid, man, for just impressed me so much, the way he handled it. What a guy, man. What a guy. Yeah, he's
well done,
proper sailed through it, man. Yeah. So well done, matey. I'm super proud of you, son. Right, and let's move on. Video tasties. It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. That is true. One more day to Halloween.
That's right.
Silver Shamrock. Hi, Rabia. All right, Davey, mate. I hope you're well. Video tasties. Ricky's first on my purge list. You have to find him first. Dave says, hey Vas, the end credit scene wasn't in Terrifier 1, it was in Terrifier 2. Oh yeah, you wrote that on the message. I forgot to reply to the messages. I've been so busy this week. But yeah, you're right. I was talking about Terrifier 1, but the mid credit scene was on Terrifier 2. Did you watch that, Pete?
Not yet.
The extra bit on Terrifier 2?
No,
right,
not
okay.
yet. Not yet.
If you skip it.
I will do. But I have to say,
it's okay. That's why I've raised it.
Towards the end of this week, mate. Towards the end of this week, I've got serious Art the Clown. It's like I'm drowning in Art the Clown, and that we've had Terrifier 2.
I know, man.
I know. All Hallows Eve.
I'm having bad dreams.
Me too, man. He's everywhere. He is everywhere. So, I think me and Art, we need to take a little break. We've been hot and heavy for far too long. We need to just take a step back and just take a day at a time. I'll be pleased to have a little break from Art the Clown, because he is very, very bloody intense. To be fair,
exactly. Fuck that guy. He's just a meanie.
Yeah.
Right, so Dave said it's okay. That's why I have a raise. Yeah, I did misspeak there. I said it was on Terrifier 1, but I did mean Terrifier 2. But yeah, thanks to you, you got to see Terrifier 2. That was awesome. Thank you. Well, you're most well. I don't know if it still might be taken down now off YouTube, but maybe not. Might still be there. Let's move on. Dave says, ironically, the next day, the movie's 2K site I usually use for free had Terrifier 2 on it after I started the day before on YouTube.
Do you know I saw Terrifier 2? It was in
Dave said,
I saw Terrifier 2 in
right, okay.
today. Yeah, absolutely. It's on sale already.
Right. Dave says, Barbarian, I thought started off really good, and then once we find out what the threat was, it was wicked silly and wicked silly stupid.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
I liked it, man. And
good
yeah,
silly,
I like the characters in that were really interesting, and the way the characters changed as well, especially Justin Long's character, because he's a very likable dude, but by the end of the movie he's not likable, and he gets his just desserts, and totally. I didn't feel bad for him at all at the end, because He's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he's very much like Burke from Aliens. You know, he's nice stuff to start off with, and then turns into a total scumbag.
Yeah, but you know, Burke's a slime ball to begin with. Like you could just tell in Aliens.
Yeah. Do you know what think? True. No, you're good shout with Burke. Do you know when he was in the car, Justin Long, and he's talking to it, and he's pretty much his world collapses on that one phone call. It very much reminded me of the scene in True Romance where the guy's driving away, and he's talking and he's doing he's got the girl in with him doing the cocaine deal, and everything goes absolutely wrong. It reminded me very much of that, like, which is a good thing.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. So Dave gave Barbarian a 3.5 out of a boosty 10. That's he definitely lowballed that, like definitely. Yeah. But I know some people really didn't like it. I did see some like out of the cinema reviews when they were they got out the cinema, and a lot of people did not like it. And that's why I was so surprised I did.
Dramatic story turns either work for some people or don't work for other people. You know, they can either, if you're in the movie, you can see that dramatic story turn as jarring and taking you out of the movie. But to be honest with you, I was kind of open-minded with this one and went along for the ride, and I had a great time.
Let's have a look here. Dave, sorry to hear about your son. I hope he gets better as well as he can be, mad love. Oh, thanks, man. It's been a really stressful day for the whole family. But yeah, I was very close to not doing this stream at all. But yeah, I think everything's going to be just okay. Nice. Right. Do you like me hoodie, Pete? Can you see what it is?
It's Thundercats.
Can you see what it is?
Thundercats,
man. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Thundercats, ho!
I like that, man. I like that as a trip down memory lane.
I've had this for years, man. Right, so the other movies we saw. Okay, the only new movie I saw, I did see a bunch of old movies, but the only other movie I saw was The Lair, which was Neil Marshall's new film. You didn't get a chance to watch that yet?
No. To be honest, I'm not overly enthusiastic about this one. I have to say, I watched the trailer and I thought even the trailer looked shonky. What was it like, Vas? Tell me.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. It was basically like just a run-of-the-mill, corny monster movie set on an army base. I think he was trying to go for another Dog Soldiers, you know. Really? But the characters weren't interesting at all. And you could tell a lot of them were like English people with really bad American accents.
Right. Like Resident Evil movie.
Which, so it did look very low, bit low budget, bit cheap. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. The action was okay in it, but it was pretty ridiculous. And there was the main lady in it who was in Neil Marshall's previous film. And is it right? It's his wife. It is his wife.
His wife. Yeah. It's his wife or girlfriend. It's one of the two.
Yeah, well, he's a very bad influence on her because I think they wrote the story together. She stars, he directs the last movie and this movie exactly the same. And the last movie they did, I can't remember what it was called. I couldn't even get through that movie, man. I watched like the first 45 minutes and I just lost interest. This one was a little bit better, but it was, I don't know, man. It was pretty stupid. It's weird, man. It was set in Afghanistan. And all the Taliban people, whoever they were, I'm guessing they were Taliban. They were all shooting at the lassie, the hero. She's a soldier, and like it was weird. She was like running for cover, and she'd be behind something like this, and then she'd come out and shoot. And all the Afghan people were just out in the open, not thinking about getting some, like, you know, you want to get some safety, don't you? I mean, that's how. I mean, I'm not a soldier or anything. I haven't had any formal training. But, you know, if I was in a firefight, I would get behind something safe and put my head round and do some bang bang. But these guys were all like out in the open like this, and then you're surprised that they get bloody. I don't know, man. It was all a bit silly.
So a bit like Hot Dogs, very ridiculous.
It was just, I don't know. I think they should have had someone there, like they sometimes have like what do they call it when they have someone helping them out who's like from the army to give them help on how to do things properly, hold guns and everything. Yeah, they should have had like a consultant on there because they didn't seem like soldiers to me at all, man. It was just, I don't know. But no, that's not a good movie, mate. If you want to skip that one, I'd say go ahead, skip it. That was called The Layer. Neil Marshall. I feel sorry for Neil Marshall, man. He's made some good movies, and now he's making not good movies. I don't know what's happened in between. He should move away from his wife, or whoever. He's not helping her at all. That girl, not helping him.
I mean, I worry about the career of Neil Marshall. Yeah. I mean, since The Descent, really, his output quality.
I mean, The Descent is so good. It's a brilliant film. The Descent.
It's not. It's it's nigh on a perfect film. It gets its influences just right without completely mimicking, and it does its own thing, and it's scary and it's claustrophobic and everything like that. And you can tell it's a passion project. There's genuine love put in that film. And the performances are good and everything like that. And like I say, I worry about Marshall. Worry about Marshall's film career. He seems to have been blackballed a wee bit from Hollywood and the kind of powers that be, and he's doing smaller stuff. And I get it, when you do smaller stuff, you can do small independent films, you have more creative control, so you'd think the output would be better, but it doesn't seem to be the case for Neil Marshall, unfortunately. He's literally writing movies for his girlfriend at the moment, and he's tailoring everything around his girlfriend, who isn't the best actress in the world. Let's be honest here. And it's a strange way to go, because you can only have so much nepotism on the set of a movie before people start before it starts winding people up. And I saw the writing credits in the last movie. I saw the writing credits on this movie. Do you think she wrote it? I don't think she did. They
wrote it together. They both wrote the story together. Yeah. I mean, the story's not even that interesting. It's like a story you've seen like 100 times before, and they didn't add nothing to it. And I don't know, man. It was just, I don't know. John Carpenter, when he was forced to do independent stuff, it like some of his best movies were the independent ones he did after he got knocked back by the like the big companies, big studios. But Neil Marshall's gone the other way, man. He can't seem to get anything right at the moment. But I still have hope out for him.
Yeah, I don't want to write him off just yet, and I'll reserve judgment on The Lair until I obviously see it and stuff like that. But like I say, I didn't hold on much hope after seeing the trailer. I'm thinking to myself, if you can't make the movie look good in a trailer, holy shit, you've got problems. So, well. Oh well, yeah. Right, the last few comments, and then we'll move on to these Halloween movies. No problem. Right. So Dave Boosty says, I give Terrifier 2 an 8.5 out of Boosty 10. He really liked it. I just wish it had more of a story to it. It almost seemed like it was just an excuse to link nasty deaths together. It was too long feeling that 100% I agree exactly with those comments. You hit the nail on the head. Hassan says Thundercats actually got a reboot in 2020 on Cartoon Network called Thundercats Raw. Ooh. 2020, which was a horrible interpretation of it, which was made cartoonish and was rated at 2.1 on IMDb. Yeah, I think the He-Man one doesn't look very good either. I used to love the He-Man as well. Yeah, I watched the He-Man mate, and it wasn't very good at all. It was kind of Kevin Smith got creative control of it, and it all went a bit wrong.
What?
That was brilliant. Comic time in there.
That was good. Right, was that the last comment? I think maybe it was. Video Tasty says, what's a horror movie you leave the lights on for? I don't know. I think the whole point of horror movies is having the lights down low. Horror movie. Is there any you want the lights on for? When I was younger, it would always be The Exorcist. To be fair, it would just get under your skin. So I would, probably sleep with the lights on that night. That type of thing. Is that what it means? Like when you go to bed? Maybe. I think that's what it means. But yeah, The Exorcist would always be the one. That and Salem's Lot. Not so much
with regards to
totally.
Salem's Lot for the movie in its entirety, although it is scary, but it's the imagery. You know, it's that boy off the Dukes of Hazzard sat there in the
that
chair.
window thinking, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the little iconic imagery that sticks in your head, that's like a brainworm as you're trying to go to sleep. So therefore you put the lights on because the vastness of the dark in your bedroom starts playing tricks on you.
Right, mate. Let's get on with this movie. So, our first movie on Monday was Trick or Treat 2007.
Yes.
Oh, Two Witches. I forgot to put that up. There you go. Trick or Treat.
Right. I'm going to
Tell us about Trick or Treat, Pete, and what did you think of it?
Right. Okay. So Trick or Treat, mate, is it's effectively an anthology movie with, I think there's 5 different tales in there, with obviously a wraparound character, which is Sam there you see on the cover. It is directed by Michael Dougherty, who also made Krampus and Godzilla, King of Monsters. He's got a hell of a lot of writing credits, but only...
You made Godzilla?
So yeah, he made so I think Godzilla King of Monsters, Godzilla 2, I think. So he made Godzilla 2. So a lot of writing credits, not so many directing credits, just a couple. Bit of trivia: budget was 12 million. Although this movie went straight to DVD, and it's quite an interesting story about why it went straight to DVD. So it was made in 2007, and apparently they're not really sure why it went straight to DVD because it was shelved for 2 years.
2 years.
There's a couple of versions. Warner Brothers weren't happy with the movie opening on Halloween and going in direct competition with Saw 4. I think it would have done all right. So they wanted to shelve it. And also, Michael Dougherty and Bryan Singer, who's also credited as a producer on this movie, had recently worked on Superman Returns, which had bombed. And the story is Warner Brothers weren't very happy about this bombing. So as a form of punishment, they shelved Trick or Treat for 2 years and then hossed it straight out onto video. Such a shame for this movie because it is a genuinely quality movie. Right, okay. So what I liked... well, I like the fact that it's kind of a bright, breezy, fun, well-told horror film for a start. You know, I think it was 82 minutes, which is refreshing these days for any movie, never mind a horror movie. 82 minutes, so you really can kind of just jump in and jump out of this movie. The direction I thought was absolutely fantastic. All the performances were great, especially Brian Cox, which just cracks. He just cracks me up in this film. He's so cranky. He's that cranky neighbor with a dark, checkered past, and he plays it absolutely perfectly. Let me see.
I'm glad he survives.
Say again.
Do he survive? He survives at the end, doesn't he?
Does he survive?
I can't remember. It's so long ago.
No, I think he does. I think he does. Although, yeah, he survives Sam's attack, and then the door goes, doesn't it?
Oh right, yeah, and all the people from the bus are there.
That's right. Yeah, and he's visited by those kids to seek revenge. So it's an open one. I thought the score was good. You know, you could tell the movie was made with love. You know what I mean? You could tell it had a bit of passion about it. You could tell that the crew and the cast, you know, thought they were making a good movie, and it certainly showed. I thought the editing was great. And what I mean by that is all the stories were interlinked, and in some of the stories that you're watching, you can see characters in the background for other stories that brings the timeline perfectly. So, you know, any editor with, you know, who wasn't on the ball could have fallen foul at those points, absolutely, for sure. Let me see. I put here, it felt like a genuine Halloween film. You know, it really reeks of the occasion. You know, it's a movie that I would say is revisitable. You know, i.e., every Halloween you could chuck it on with John Carpenter's Halloween. It wouldn't be out of place. This movie, you know, probably as the lighter movie out of the duo. That's for sure. Let me see. It's nasty when it wants to be. I thought it's funny when it wants to be, and it's you know, it's just a bloody, you know, rewatchable, entertaining little yarn, mate. You know, dislikes. My only dislike really is just we haven't had a sequel yet for this. That's it. I really like everything about this movie, mate. It's what a fun little Halloween flick should be about. I'm giving this 8.5 out of 10, my man.
8.5.
8.5 for me.
Yeah, it's a really popular film, this, isn't it? You know what, Pete? Yeah. I've got to tell you, man. I've watched this movie 3 times.
Right.
And the first time I watched it, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for us. And I watched it the second time because everybody loves this film. Everybody absolutely adores this film that I know of. So I watched it the second time, and it still just doesn't do anything for us. So I watched it this week again on Monday, and still, man, I just can't get into this film at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I like the set design. I like the Halloween atmosphere. And it's interesting enough, but it just doesn't do anything for us at all, Pete. I don't know what it is. It's just one of the movies that just, I don't know, it's just not on my wavelength for some reason. And it's just okay. It's just an okay film. Like I say, apart from those 2 things I like set design is really, really good. It really helps. And all the performances are fine, and the stuff that happens is fine. It's a perfectly fine film. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm just one of those people. I don't know what it is about this particular movie. I can't get impressed by the movie apart from the set design and the Halloween atmosphere. There's like nothing in the movie that like I don't know gives me a thrill or anything. It's just I don't know.
That's a shame.
I don't know. It's so strange. I've tried. This is the 3rd time I've tried to get into this movie, and I just can't get into it. I might be the only person that I know that doesn't think this movie is great, and I don't think it is great at all. I like the story with the bus one. It's pretty good. Yeah, but all the rest of it, man, kind of leaves me a bit cold. I'll be honest with you.
The serial killer teacher.
It's fine. It was all right. It was okay. It is what it is, you know.
Fair enough.
It was kind of okay. I don't know.
There are some movies like that, you know, which just don't float your boat, mate. I'm trying to think if I've got one that everybody loves, but I don't like. Do you know what? I'm like that with quite a lot of Argento movies. You know, I would say Argento. A lot of horror fans will say, "Oh, Argento this, Argento that," and something about his movies just don't work for me. I can't put my finger on it. So it could be.
Are you a fan of Suspiria?
No, not really. Not really.
Really, not really.
There's moments from it, you know, that I like. But as a movie on a whole, I find these movies, how can I put it, depressing. I come away quite depressed. I don't know why it is. I can't put my finger on it, whether it's tonally something that just doesn't work for us, mate. But like I say, I'm absolutely in the minority, and everybody loves his movies. So I wonder if it's kind of similar to that. But I'm surprised that one, Bass, Trick or Treat, I thought you would like as kind of like a family horror movie, if you like, because it feels like. I
like Sam. Sam was cool enough. I like Sam, the little doodah kid. He kept changing size in the movie though. Sometimes he was like small, and sometimes he's like 3/4 size. And I don't know. I'm nitpicking though, but I mean, if you like the movie, that's absolutely fine. It just doesn't float my boat, mate. It just doesn't do it for us.
Fair.
So
what are you giving that one, then?
If you've seen it, you probably like it. I'm not a big fan.
Fair.
That's my hot take.
What's your scores, mate? What's the scores?
I don't really have a reason for it, man. I'll give it a 6. 6. It was fine. Yeah, I mean, if somebody put it on at Halloween time, I would sit and watch it and go, yeah, that was all right. That was Halloweeny. I'll take it. But speaking of Halloween, let's go on with the next movie, Pete. Actually, let's see if there's any comments. first.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave Boosty says the way you guys talk about Neil Marshall and his wife almost reminds me of Kate Beckinsale and her director husband at the time, Glenn something or other, and also where's Len Wiseman. That's right. Yeah. And Paul Anderson and Mila Jovovich. Yeah, you know, I think he's got a good point there. He's got a good point.
Absolutely.
She's got a good rack on her. That all three of those people, that all the ladies that he's mentioned, they have some selling points, but the acting is not one of them.
Yeah, true. This is
in
true.
my opinion, but they're nice to look at. Dave plus Rob Zombie and his wife Sherry Moon Zombie. We're gonna get onto that. Are we gonna get onto that? I guess it's a good idea on paper when couples work together, and I don't have much of a problem with it. But it's kind of odd feeling though. Yeah. I mean, it does work sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. You know what movie I'm a big fan of? Have you seen The Getaway with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger?
A long time ago.
Movie.
A long time ago.
That's a really good action film, man. I like my action movies. That's just a really good action movie. I mean, they could have had another different couple in there, but that movie, I think that one works. Works a Trick or Treat. It does. Dave says I basically love Trick or Treat 2007. He gives it a 9 out of Wishy 10. Yep, I'm definitely in the minority. I feel quite bad about that. You know, actually, before we move on, there's something I need to do, and I'm going to do it right now. And here we go. So everyone watching, have a look at this. Yes, this is a public service announcement on behalf of Horror Lives Matter YouTube channel. I know YouTube has now rolled out the community tab to pretty much everyone. If you've recently got that facility, congratulations. I'm very, very happy for you. I know I was very excited when I got it. I was quite thrilled, and I'm sure you are too. And I got it when I reached 500 subscribers, but now anyone can get it. But I would just like to mention that with great power comes great responsibility. It's my humble request that you show a little mercy with that community tab, people. Just a little bit of restraint, lest you spam the fuck out of everyone's feed. You know, I was very, very close this week to unsubscribing to some people I quite like, because I just kept getting loads of community messages over and over and over and over again. And you know, this is YouTube. It's not Instagram. It's YouTube. So just settle down, people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't overuse it. Use it, you know, less is more. That's all I'm going to say. That's my 2 pence worth on the subject. Thank you for listening. That's been a public service announcement on behalf of Horror Lives Matter YouTube channel. That is all. Just had to say that. Sorry, guys.
Fair.
Right, let's move on to where are we at here. Let's get this comment off. Tuesday movie was Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007.
Yes, it was.
Rob Zombie.
Right. Okay. So Halloween 2007, directed by Rob Zombie, like you mentioned there, mate. Now, we'll do. Well, okay. Listen, the setup for this movie is essentially Rob Zombie was hired to do a remake of Halloween, but what Rob does is essentially makes 2 movies. He makes an origin story of Michael Myers as a 10-year-old child, and he gets a 15-year-old diabetic girl to play him. So he does this origin story of Michael Myers, and then literally halfway through the movie, he has a pretty much shot-for-shot remake, although not as good shot-for-shot remake of the original Halloween, even taking the dialogue word for word. It's that's pretty much the setup for this movie. The like I say, origin story for Michael Myers, pretty much explaining everything about what made this mysterious shape a killer, and then a tacked on remake at the end. So a bit of trivia. The let me see. The budget was 15 million, but it made 81 million. This movie was a hit.
Blimey.
Let me see. This is another movie that was afraid of going head to head with Saw 4 back in 2007, which was quite strange because we just talked about this literally the same scenario. Yeah, so it came out a little bit beforehand as well. But yeah, in looking up little trivia notes, I found it strange that Trick or Treat and Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, were terrified of Saw 4. I can't even remember Saw 4, mate. Was it that good? I guess it was very popular.
I don't think I saw it.
No, exactly. So what I liked, and this won't take long, okay? The violence is brutal, and it does have a few moments when it's being a remake and not an origin story that are quite creative, but then you realize that you're actually thinking of the original. And not what the movie that you're actually watching at the moment. You know, if anything, you kind of repeatedly want to turn the movie off and go put on John Carpenter's Halloween to wash that dirty, grubby taste out of your mouth. Okay, what I didn't like, everything is absolutely just dirty, filthy in this movie. Every actor, for some unknown reason, have dirty fucking fingers, man, and dirt behind the fingers all the time. Every one of them, man. I'm like that going, why do you all have to be dirty, poor white trash in every scene, man? It's just grim. So yeah, I wrote down here, poor white trash, poor white trash. This seems to be all that Rob Zombie, knows how to do or thinks he knows how to do. I mean, the dialogue is fucking horrendous, especially the young people's dialogue, because it's clearly written by some fucking middle-aged fat man. You know what I mean? Who clearly hasn't talked to a fucking child in fucking forever. You know what I mean? Absolutely ridiculous. Like, so, let me see here. I've got Sherry Moon Zombie cannot act. Full stop, right? She can't act. I've seen her in a bunch of movies now.
I've got a message for her. I've got a message for her. Wait.
Stop it!
It's true. Stop it, Sherry. When your man rolls over on a Sunday morning and says, "Hey, pet, let's make a movie," you should star in it. Just say, "But I can't act. I can't act, Rob. I can't act. I'll just have your money." And that'll do us. Stay out the limelight, Sherry. It really isn't good. Like, okay, so the first 45 minutes is so fucking dull. It's unbelievable. Like I said, the kid who plays Michael Myers is unlikable as fuck. It's a strange one, and the kid's got jowls as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he's a fucking squirrel, and he's been saving up fucking nuts in his neck. Because his neck seems to be massive. Like, I mean, was Michael Myers a fat kid? Michael Myers wasn't a fat kid. You know what I mean? He wasn't. But I didn't like the kid at all. Let me see. There's some really poor choices made in this movie, from direction, lighting, acting. Essentially everything. The movie's just genuinely poor in every department. When it goes into the second half of the movie, which is the full-on remake, like I say, this movie suddenly is less brave than it was in the first 45 minutes, and even steals dialogue from the original movie line for line. If there was a shining light in this movie, it's certainly not Malcolm fucking McDowell as well. He can fuck off. I thought it was Brad Dourif. Brad Dourif is about the only thing that it's worth sticking with this movie for. I think this movie's dreadful, mate. I think if Miramax had approached you and me, or basically any other person on the planet, and said, "Would you remake Halloween for me?" we go, "Yeah, okay. We need to treat Michael Myers with respect. We need to keep him vague and mysterious, because when he's mysterious, guess what? He's fucking scary. So let's do that." And I think Rob Zombie is the only man on the planet that he thought, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm making a Rob Zombie movie here. I'll make this about poor white trash, and I'll essentially use all the character tropes from fucking House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, and I'll chuck him into suburbia, It doesn't work in suburbia, middle class suburbia. It doesn't work. You can't have, that horrible jarring scene where they're serving breakfast and the kids fucking screaming and Sherry Moon's trying to act and that guy's going, "Get over here, you fucking whore," and stuff like that. I'm like, is this movie in Texas or Illinois? What the fuck's going on, man? So I didn't like this movie, mate. I'm being generous with this one. I'm being generous with the score. I'm giving it 4 out of 10. And that's it from me on this one.
Yeah, this is only the second time I've seen this movie. I watched it when it came out. I didn't like it at all. It's unneeded. It's pointless. But I'd say it's not totally hopeless. This film, I like the casting. There's lots of little cameos in there that I did enjoy in the movie, like all the way through. I don't know how he got so many cool actors in there, but it's jam packed with good actors in this movie. A lot of them don't last very long, but that kept me interested watching all these people I like pop up on screen. There's a few nice surprises there.
Ken Forey was in there.
I don't know. I thought I'd resent it more than I did the first time I watched it, but I didn't think it was that bad. I'll be honest with you, Pete. Even though it's Rob Zombie, and I've got a message for Rob Zombie as well.
You don't know shit, buddy.
But this one wasn't too bad. We'll get on to Halloween 2, which I have different feelings about.
Yeah.
But at least there was a lot of the Halloween theme in there. I thought I might resent that, having the Halloween theme in this sort of movie, because it didn't feel like a Halloween film at all in any way. I couldn't imagine a worse person to get to make a Halloween reboot than Rob Zombie. Just full of hillbillies and bad language, and just for the sake of it, unlikable characters all the way through, and there's not a single person to latch onto except maybe Brad Dourif, and doesn't really do that much in the movie, to be honest. What else did I mention on there? I don't know. I've written the same thing. The first 40 minutes was god awful. It was. The first 40 minutes there was no point in showing that. The first 40 minutes was basically the first 10 minutes of the movie of Halloween, and that includes 2 minutes of opening credits.
Yeah.
But think about how suspenseful the first 10 minutes of Halloween is. It's and this one, it's 40 minutes of just horrible people, and it was dreadful, the first 40 minutes. But after that, it did pick up when Michael Myers was fully grown. Was it the Halloween one where he was where he broke out because of the orderlies were they got a girl in. They got one of the girls who would raped her and all that.
That pointless rape
was horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Dreadful. I did not like that. I was glad Michael Myers killed them, because they were as bad as he was. They deserved to die.
Totally.
But yeah, it took far too long to get going. But once it did get going, I didn't mind it too much. But it's a 2-hour movie. Both Halloween and Halloween 2 are 2-hour movies, and they were half an hour too long. Too much in there. I didn't need to be in there. But I was expecting it to hate it a lot more than I actually did. At the end of it, I was like, there were some things in there I didn't mind. I don't know. If it wasn't a Halloween movie, I think I probably would have liked it more than what I did. And I quite like Malcolm McDowell. I quite like him, I've got to say.
I like Malcolm McDowell.
Right. I don't think he's very good as Loomis. His character was too different to Loomis.
Yeah.
But I thought he was all right. I thought that was a good bit of casting, that I thought. But that's just me. And I don't think any of the kills were very memorable in that movie. I'm trying to think of some of the kills, but in Halloween, all the kills are pretty much memorable because they're all set pieces, aren't they? Everything's around a set piece, and then there's a kill in the middle. But this movie didn't have any set pieces at all. He just blasts his way through Michael Myers and just kills anybody that's in his way.
Every kill was kind of surrounded by titillation as well. Literally, there was always some naked girl trying to escape him. That type of thing. And Rob Zombie's quite gratuitous with his camera angles and whatnot. You know, I actually felt sorry for one of his actresses. You know, on some of the camera angles he was actually, shooting. You know, you could literally pretty much see what this girl had for lunch. You know, it was. I felt sorry for her type of thing. I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure that's not what you signed up for, right enough. But yeah, it just seemed like. The Devil's Rejects with Michael Myers in it, and listen, I'll go as far as saying, with Rob Zombie, not everything he's done has been terrible. I really didn't like A House of a Thousand Corpses, but the Devil's Rejects, I kind of dug. It was, granted, the characters weren't nice people and you couldn't get behind them or anything like that, but as a cohesive movie that was quite well made, it was quite well made. Then I don't think he's ever matched that kind of little flash of quality that the Devil's Rejects give us. I think he's constantly been trying to emulate that ever since, to be fair.
And Laurie Strode was shit. The girl who plays Laurie Strode, she was absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish.
Yeah.
And the friends were annoying as anything.
Yeah.
Even Daniel Harris was like totally annoying in it.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, I'll talk a little bit more about the girl who plays Laurie when we do Halloween 2, because she wasn't really fleshed out at all in this movie. But we'll talk about Halloween 2 when we get to Halloween 2, not good casting at all. To be fair, at all.
What did you give Halloween again?
I give it a 4 out of 10.
4. I'll give it a 5 because I was. I disliked it less than I thought I was gonna, so I'll give it some credit for that. So
that's a good thing.
And I always get a kick when I hear Halloween music in anything, and unlike Halloween 2, the Halloween music was all over this one. Yeah, I don't know why he decided not to put it in the Halloween 2 at all, apart from the end credits, which is just totally crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not crazy, yeah. Absolutely, so I'll give it a 5 just because it wasn't as bad as I remember it being.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah. And at the end, I think we're going to do, after we've done Halloween 2, we'll do a Halloween ranking. Yeah, you've got yours 100%. Ready?
Got mine ready, mate. Awesome. Absolutely.
Awesome. Right. Let's get back on these comments before we get to the next movie. Have we had that one yet? Yeah. Okay, we've had that one. Dave says, I basically love Trick. Oh, no, we've read that one.
Yeah.
My only dislike of Trick or Treat 2007 is when Dylan Baker kills somebody. I thought that was a little too disgusting looking. And also what happens to Brian Cox. He's such a great character.
Oh, yeah. Do you know Brian Cox's character is modelled off John Carpenter himself?
Really?
Yeah, apparently so. Brian Cox even wanted certain prosthetics so he would look more like, the very grumpy, cantankerous John Carpenter.
I didn't see that at all.
I didn't. I only read it, mate. I wasn't thinking GSC when I was watching the movie, but I only read it.
Yeah. All right, Ben's here from Cadaver Club. Hi, mate, for dropping by. Hey, Vars AP, can't stay long. Just want to stop in and say Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Man. Happy Halloween. Couple of hours to go, mate, and we're there. Well, for us, anyway. Dave says The Getaway is a remake in the remake with Kim Basinger and Alec Baldwin. I found was kind of fun. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I will give it exactly the same. I haven't seen it in a long time, though. It's got good action, mate. Good action. 90s had the best action movies, in my opinion, so that was a good 90s action film. Dave says, Rob Zombie's Halloween I found was majorly disappointing. I love Michael McDowell. Brad Dourif was great too, but there's nothing scary or mysterious about a 7-foot Michael Myers walking around in the daytime. Yeah. All very, very good points. The movie wasn't scary at all. It wasn't suspenseful.
He's massive as well. Myers is massive in this film. Like.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little bit impressed about his stature in the movie, because he doesn't feel like Michael Myers, but feels more like a Jason sort of character, doesn't he?
I thought he was an American wrestler or something like that. That's what it felt like.
Probably was, yeah. Hassan says, what is your least and most favorite horror genre, and each our favorite film? Least and most favorite horror genre. I think we've answered that question before, hasn't it? It was, I think it was possession movies we liked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know I like me supernatural possession movies, and I dislike like I guess cannibal movies, rape revenge movies. No, I think cannibal movies. I'll say I can't think of a single one I like.
Yeah,
I actually avoid them if I can. I avoid them.
I would agree with you there, mate. You know, anything that kind of is too exploitative, to be fair, a little bit too.
Yeah, I didn't like Terrifier. The fact that the guy was eating people, like he was a cannibal as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The clown's a cannibal.
Yeah,
That put me off quite a lot as well. Dave says Rob Zombie demystified Michael Myers, which made him even less scary, and some of his past made us think I even hate him even more for all the psychopathic cliches that he did. A 3 out of a boosty 10. Don't blame me for that at all, mate.
Yeah.
And let's have a look what the next movie is. So Wednesday, we're on Wednesday, aren't we? Wednesday's movie was Haunt. Have you seen Haunt before? Is this a first time watch, Pete?
No, this was a second time watch. I had seen this before, mate, but quite recently, because I think it's a 2019 film. So yeah, you know, I think I saw it in Shudder initially. So the setup for this movie essentially is there is a rather nice young lady who's gotten herself into a bad relationship, and friends decide to try and cheer her up one night as things aren't going particularly well for her, and they all go out for a few drinks, and it's either on Halloween or it's certainly around Halloween. So they all go out to a nightclub and they have a few drinks, and then on the way back out, with these guys that they've met or they seem to know, they decide to, they find a leaflet and they decide to go and see what I think are they called extreme haunted houses? Is that right? Kind of like a fun house, extreme haunted houses. You've seen them on YouTube where basically people go in and they essentially get beat up for an hour and a half and they pay $50 for the privilege. It's fucking insane. Just not on your Nelly would I ever go to do anything. I know.
Never. Too many horror films to do something like that.
Exactly. So they go into this house of they go into the haunt, and sooner rather than later start to realize that perhaps the horrors that are on show are all but real. Horror ensues. So this one was directed by a duo, Scott Beck and Brian Wood. I've got down here, but I can't understand my own handwriting, so it might be wrong. They've only directed, and I could see another movie called Night Lights. However, these guys write quite a bit, and they actually wrote a Quiet Place, which I thought was awesome.
Did they really?
Place. Yeah,
I did not know that.
They wrote a Quiet Place, which is obviously a massive claim to fame for them because it was a huge hit. Right, okay. So trivia on this one: it had a limited release, making 2.4 million. And when it quickly was launched onto streaming via Shudder, and it was voted in 2019 the most watched movie premiere on Shudder that year. So it seemed to be quite popular with the streamers. So, but what I liked, it's quite a good looking movie. I thought it was quite well shot. It's quite slickly done. I thought the directing was adequate. I didn't think it was, it didn't knock it out of the park or anything like that. There wasn't direct signatures all over the place or anything like that. But I thought it was adequate. It carried the story along nicely. The cast were also fine, I'm going to say. I think they were fine. They weren't particularly unlikable or anything like that. I kind of, I didn't want them to die. So I guess that's a good thing. The kills were fine, although there was quite a few that were off screen rather than on screen, which is a bit of a strange choice for a horror movie. But hey ho, sometimes what you don't see makes it even more scary. So that's fair enough. We'll go with that. I thought it was quite pacey. It fairly zips over its runtime, which is good. You want that, so it's nice and quick. I thought the lead, Katie Stevens, was good. I liked her. I think I liked all the characters. Enough, and that I wanted them to survive. Right, okay. What I didn't like, and I put, there are a lot of borrowed concepts in this movie. Whether it be Saw, Funhouse, and probably a few others that you guys noticed that I didn't notice there. So maybe not the most original movie I've ever seen. And I think there was also Hellfest that came out the same which was very similar as well.
Yeah.
So
I get them confused. Yeah.
You get them confused. I get you. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose it happens every now and then. Usually you had Armageddon, you had Deep Impact, and every now and then you get the same movie released. It's a strange one. The movie, this is what I didn't like. The movie attempts to give you an idea of who the bad guys are. It hints at there's some kind of cult and body modifications or something like that, but it never really gives you a concrete answer. So I'm thinking, well, you're either going to commit to telling us the backstory here, or don't bother at all. Keep it completely fucking mysterious. Don't say, hey Pete, you're starving for a bit of knowledge. Well, he's a cheese sandwich of knowledge here. Here it is, and then go whoop. No, and take it away from me. I want the cheese sandwich of knowledge, man. So yeah, I didn't like that. I thought that was a cheap trick. I thought. Let me see. Listen, I think my ultimate problem with Haunt is whilst being perfectly okay and adequate, it's all a little bit generic. It never reaches the dizzy heights of exciting. It never reaches the dizzy heights of scary. But there are some good moments in there, and it's a perfectly reasonable horror film. It's not terrible. I just didn't think it was great. So it's a shame, especially when reading afterwards, you find out these guys have made have written A Quiet Place. But like I say, I wasn't offended, I wasn't offended by it or anything like that. It's not bad. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Probably a little bit generous. Maybe it should be a 6, but 6.5 is what I wrote when I watched it. So I'll stick with that. 6.5 out of 10, mate.
Very good. I've got to say, this is my second watch. The first time I watched this movie, I didn't like it at all. It rubbed me the wrong way. It was just one of those movies where the baddies just planned everything just too perfectly, and that always annoys me. And a lot of the things that happened in it didn't make very much sense. Like, it was just too, I don't know, it was just too contrived. But this sunset in the second watch, I'm not quite sure what the reason was, but I kind of I didn't mind just like pushing all that stuff away, and I just had a good time watching the movie. I've enjoyed it a lot more this time than the first time. I think it's a good movie. I'm surprised I said it, because I was surprised after I finished watching and said, wow, I quite enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed that quite a lot. I still had the same problems. Like there was this one girl who doesn't like spiders, and then she gets all these spiders put on her. And I'm like, well, that's a little bit too, like, how did they manage to make it so it was her who got the spiders dropped on her out of all the 6 people that were there? I'm like, I don't know. And when they have to go into this coffin to get to the other side, and they were going in one at a time, and I'm like, they're so scared and so worried. You could easily get 2 people in that coffin. Why do you have to get one? And then the last person gets trapped in, isn't it? And the spiders come down. I'm like, and at the end, there was this figure in black that kind of walks to the very end of the haunt.
Yes.
And she shoots her, and it turns out to be not one of the baddies. And I'm like, that didn't make any sense. That person walked very slowly right through every single room in that place and didn't have any trouble finding the way through. That's true. Like, if it was one of the people that was like who had gone to the haunt, how did they know the way all the way there? It didn't make any sense to us at all. But to be honest, it didn't bother me half as much as it did the first time. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I did. And it was satisfying at the end. When all the baddies get what they deserved, I was super happy with that.
I like the little ending, the kind of the added ending where he goes to a house, and I like that she's waiting for him with a shotgun, and pretty much she's Nancy-fied the entire property. So I did like that. To be fair, that was good payback.
And there was one bit where there's a bucket of all this horrible stuff, and you had to reach into the bucket and get something out the bottom. I'm thinking, tip the flipping bucket, exactly. Just tip it over. Why'd you have to put your hand in there and go?
Exactly.
It just didn't make any sense. Anyway, regardless, I had a good time with that movie, a lot more than I thought I was gonna. So yeah, I was, again, a bit like Halloween. I was happy that I had that surprise of actually enjoying the movie more than I thought I was gonna.
That's
So yeah, I'll match yours, Pete. I'll say 6.5. It's a very decent movie. Even though Eli Roth has his fingers in that pot, and I hate that guy.
He used it, didn't he?
I still like the movie quite a lot. Yeah, it's a good movie, man. Yeah.
I tell you what, Vas, I am quite surprised that you're thawing out in your old age here, mate. You're watching movies and you're reevaluating them and you're liking them, and that's a good thing, mate. I'm quite curious what you're going to make Halloween 2, mate. Let's see if you have warmed to that one as well.
Too far, Pete. I have my limits.
Fair.
Right. Is there any other things? Any comments? Actually, I think we can move on straight to Halloween 2. Let's just have a look at here. Okay. Dave says after doing the research on it, John Carpenter Tomorrow Live has a Galaxy contact thing going on. He's selling autographed posters for $180 with your name on it, $50 with a message link, like another $50. Interesting.
He loves the money. He loves the money. He loves.
God. Imagine meeting that guy in the street and saying, "Oh, can I take a picture?" And he'd be like, "Pay that much, and you can have a picture, mate."
Exactly.
Thank you. I love you too. Whoa. Anyway, why not? I guess he's earned it, I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to day 27, which is Thursday, and that was Halloween 2. Go on, Pete. Let's make this fast. I know there's going to be lots of negatives, so let's try and speed through this one.
Let's do this one. Okay. So we've got Halloween 2, 2009. This movie was made. The setup for this movie essentially is Laurie Strode, the survivor of the first movie, has moved on. I think it's either 4 or 5 years later or something like that. And she's moved on. She's moved into Brad Dourif's house with Daniel Harris, his character, and they're all kind of living like a family unit. But she's obviously very troubled, deeply psychologically scarred, as is Daniel Harris's character as well. And a little does she know that Michael Myers is still actually alive and being summoned by the ghost of his dead mother with a fucking horse, with a white horse for no reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever. Just a fucking white horse. And there's a lot of symbolism there and everything like that. So that's basically the setup for this film. So a bit of trivia about the film. It also had a $15 million budget, but the box office for this one was $39.4 million. So its audience dropped right the fuck off from Halloween 1. John Carpenter turned down a cameo in this role. Wise man, John, you know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't like money that much. But even JC turned down money, real money, to appear in this movie, which beggars belief, given what we've just talked about. Rob Zombie has disowned this movie and the original Halloween, as he believes, and he stated out in public that it was total studio interference is the reason why Halloween 2 ended up like Halloween 2. I'm not so.
I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy that for 1 second.
Right, here we go. So what I liked, Brad Dourif is given more to do here. And he's, he's always good value. So, yeah. So, it's much the same as the first one. And it was nice to see Margot Kidder. When I saw it again, I was like, oh, yeah, she's in this, And the ironic thing as well, she's playing a psychiatrist when she crazy. She crazy.
The bitch is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. She crazy. Right. Okay. What I didn't like. So that's it. That's all I liked about this fucking movie. Okay. What I didn't like about the movie, Scout Taylor Compton, Laurie. She is annoying as hell. Right. Her range from this movie is scream, yell, pissed off, scream fuck, and repeat. In fact, if you want to play a drinking game whilst watching Halloween 2, take a drink every time Laurie screams the word fuck on her own to nobody, because she does it maybe 40 times in this movie. Like, you'll be shit-faced by the end of this movie if you do that, right? Okay, every single character in the movie is completely fucking different to they were in part 1. They all have personality transplants.
Absolutely, Pete.
Malcolm McDowell, he's a different person. Laurie Strode, completely different fucking people.
Even looks different.
Yeah.
With all the raggedy hair and bloody, totally different.
Exactly. Do you know what? I read an interview with Rob Zombie, and he said the Weinsteins were interfering so much they would show me, they would put the tape on of Halloween 1 and say, this is what happens in Halloween 1. And he said, well, I know, I fucking made it. So I'm thinking they probably picked up on the fact that why the character's completely fucking different. You know, why have not one of these people managed to keep hold of their personality from part 1? So dramatic. Oh, anyway, and it's all nonsensical. You know, it's completely nonsensical. Okay, I wrote again. Fuck Malcolm McDowell. He's you know, I think it's his character. Don't get me wrong, especially in this movie, he's just a piece of shit, and his dialogue is disgustingly poor. I mean, the bit where he stood in the
was this the one with Weird Al? Weird Al was in this one, wasn't it?
Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, exactly. Weird Al Yankovic's in this movie, man. You know, dreadful. But yeah, again, I wasn't happy with Malcolm McDowell's character. Here we go. The movie looks like shit. I mean, it looks like shit. It's grainy. It's badly lit. The composition of the camera is all over the fucking place. You know, every single creative member of this film, we're on the C or D game. You know what I mean? There's not one person bringing their A game to this movie, like, and it's a $15 million budget. It's absolutely insane how shitty this film looks and sounds. Anyway, let me see. I thought the cameos were quite jarring in this movie because there's so many of them. The cameos are so, but I think even I had to laugh. It was is it Octavia Spence? She's in this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously pre-Oscar and everything like that, and she gets killed, and I felt sorry for her. You know, I was like, oh, she's a good actress, but never mind.
Just a dream, though, wasn't it, Pete? That was just a dream anyway, so I don't think she really got killed.
Oh yeah, it was just a
first 20 minutes of it is just all the dream.
You're true. That is a dream as well. Yeah. Damn it, I forgot about that. That. The Dallas Bobby Ewan dream sequence at the start of it. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sherry Moon again. You know, and a horse. What the fuck? You know, but to be fair, I did not expect Sherry Moon Zombie to actually get out-acted by a horse. But it happens in this movie, man. It happens in this movie. I believe the horse was actually a horse. So that again, out-acted by the fucking horse. Listen, I've just put the music, acting, direction, completely incompetent. And the movie, you know, incoherent at times, which is unforgivable, not scary, uninvolving. I absolutely detest this movie, mate. I give it 1 out of 10, and I think I'm generous with 1 out of 10. Fuck this movie. What about you, Max?
Yeah. In a word, Halloween 2 is just annoying. It was annoying me from beginning to end. It was boring and annoying. I think it was just an excuse. Like, the story was just an excuse for Rob Zombie to get his wife back in because she killed herself in the first one. Yeah. But he wanted her in the second one. And, like, she just shouldn't even been in the second one at all. I mean, it was bad enough she was in the first one, but he went and stuck her in. That's why I don't believe that there's a lot of studio interference. Because if I was a studio exec, I'd be like, take that shit out, man. Take it all out with the horse and Sherry Moon Zombie and get rid of it, man. But so I don't believe that for a second. So it starts off like a year after the first one, isn't it? So, or is it 2 years after? 2 years after the first one. Yeah.
Well, I can't remember the timeline. I thought it was 3 or 4 years, but I'm muddy on that one.
I think it was a bit more brutal and violent than the first one. I thought. What do you think?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You know, everything's overkill in this movie. You know, stab, and he's also kind of like he's like, it's like come along.
I know he's like a big dude. I mean, one stab would have killed him, but it was like putting so much effort into it. And I'm like, bloody hell! After the first stab, they'd be dead, but he was still going on and on and on.
Oh, can I say something? Can I say something, Baz? What the fuck did those girls do to Brad Dourif's house? You know what I mean? Did you see the bathroom and that? There was spray paint all over it. I mean, that's Brad's house. I'm sure he's not okay with that. He's done you a favour, yeah? And you fucked him over.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I wrote the same thing, Pete. The characters are very, very different. They look different. They all look like white trash with ripped trousers and bird nest hair. And she was swearing like the rest of them were swearing in the first one. She wasn't like that in the first one, man. She was totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe she was actually worse than she was in the first movie, but she managed to be even more like insipid and annoying than in the first one, which that takes skill, that man.
What was with that band dance thing, man? You know, they go to that party, and I'm like, going, why would girls go to this party? You know what I mean? With strippers all over the
and they
shop.
were having a good time, apparently. They were having a good time, which I couldn't work that out. And Michael Myers was like some sort of like wandering nomad to like half the movie, like most of the movie. He was like bloody David Carradine in Kung Fu. It's just like wandering around with a beard and everything. I'm like, that's Michael Myers. That's not Michael Myers. What are you doing?
In fact, I kind of look like Michael Myers from Halloween 2 here.
You do, yeah. You fucking do, man. Yeah, and all the like the nightmares and the flashes, they didn't make any sense at all, man. I couldn't work out. It was just all felt kind of made up all the way through. You couldn't care less for nobody in the movie apart from Brad Dourif. Is the only one who was like a little bit sympathetic, especially when his daughter dies. Yeah, I mean that was a good scene, but everybody else, man, was like kind of even more unlikable than the first movie.
His acting in that scene was great because he kind of walks up the stairs and you see his eyes filling with tears as he's approaching it. And I'm thinking, there's Brad, the consummate professional, acting his socks off for what is a piece of shit turkey. But, you know, he's not just cashing his check, he's giving it his all. But he's, you know, but that's the
outclasses that whole movie, everybody in that movie, Yeah, so everyone's just like, everyone's like just a freak show in that movie, like even the people she works with. It was like I don't know how Rob Zombie comes up with these hillbilly characters. There was like I don't know if I would run a mile. I don't know why you would think people want to see people like that. It was like so unlikable and just it's just a big turn off.
Yeah, I mean again the dialogue.
I didn't like.
I was just saying that the dialogue in that scene when they're in the record store, mate, you know, it's just, it blows my mind that was written down on a page and they thought, that's it, lock in the script, this is the one, you know, blows my mind.
Yeah, and I really don't understand why they wouldn't make the most of, you know, the Halloween theme and the music. Like, at least they did that in the first one, but in the second one, he just chucked it all out. It's like, let's make a Halloween movie that's the least like a Halloween movie you can imagine.
Yeah,
I don't even know why he would. It's like it was a script for some other type of movie, and he just shoehorned it all into Halloween 2 because he wants to have all these horrible scenes and horrible characters in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything.
And it was far too long. It felt even longer than the first one. It was the same length as the first one, but it just went on and on and on. Ugh. And the horse, man. What was the crap with the horse?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm still trying to work it out.
Really needs to explain that. I didn't get it.
I went to bed
that was terrible, man. No saving that movie. It's no saving that movie at all. This is a turkey. This movie is one big turkey.
100%.
I can't think of. I like cameos. Like that was one. Like there was a lot of cameos in this one as well, and they were good. But the movie's trash, absolute trash, full of trash people, trash movie, trash director. This movie can't be saved. It was worse than the Fog remake. That's how bad this movie was. Oh, exactly. Yeah, I'll give it a 1 as well, Pete. I'll give it a 1 as well. On that note, mate, should we do the ranking for the Halloween movies?
Let's do it. How do you want to do this? Do you
From
want
worst to best?
Worst to best. Okay.
You do one, I'll do one. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm ranking. There's 13 Halloween movies. Yeah, I haven't missed any. Yeah, 13, right. Okay. Okay. So what have you got at number 13?
Right, my worst is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Worst Halloween movie.
My worst is also Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, mate. Yeah, 13 exactly.
And number 12, second worst movie. Go on.
I have got Rob Zombie's Halloween 1.
Oh, have you? Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't got that. I've got Halloween Resurrection as my
Ooh.
second worst
Okay.
Halloween movie.
Okay.
Go on, next.
So 11, I've got Halloween Resurrection. So just one behind you on that.
I've got Halloween 6, The Curse of
okay.
Michael Myers.
Fair enough. At number 10, I have Halloween Ends because I fucking hated Halloween Ends. But to be fair, it was fucking Dr. Zhivago compared to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So fair play.
Yeah,
What have you got
and
number 10?
then I had Halloween 5 as the next
Okay.
worst one.
Okay,
Because that's
fair
a
enough.
terrible film.
Number 9, I have Halloween 6.
I mean, these all bad movies, man. I mean, Halloween franchise, man, it's got some fucking crap movies in it.
Dangerous. Yeah.
I had Halloween Kills as the next worst movie. So was that 13, 12, 11, 10. Number 9, Halloween Kills, yeah.
Okay. Number 8, I have Halloween Kills. Number 8 for me.
Yeah. Number 7, am I on number 7?
No, you're
I had
number 8.
Halloween 2007. Rob Zombie's Halloween as number 7. Seems quite high. It's like middle way.
What was your number 8, Vas?
It was Halloween Kills.
Oh, right. Sorry, right.
13, 12, 11, 10. No, 9 was Halloween Kills. 8 was Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. So
And what
7
was your 8?
was. So your 7 was what, mate?
Let me go through. I've got Halloween 2, 13, Resurrection 12, Halloween 6 is 11, Halloween 5 is 10,
Yeah.
Halloween Kills is 9,
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's Halloween is 8, and
Yeah.
Halloween Ends is number 7.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
So for number 7, I have Halloween 5. Because it is.
So they're all the same movies, just in a different order.
Yeah. So Halloween 5
Yeah.
for me at number 7, mate.
Yeah. So we're on number 6.
Yep.
I had Halloween Ends because I quite like that movie.
Okay. I've got in number 6, I've got Halloween 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And number 6. We're on number 6.
I've just
13,
done
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I've got number 6. I've got Halloween 4. And what's your number 6?
my number 6 is 2018, Halloween 2018.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So Halloween number 5, I've got Halloween 2018.
Right. And at number 5, I've got Halloween H2O.
At number 5?
Yeah, number 5, man. At number 5.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What have you got against Halloween?
Do you know what? It's the mask, mate. The fucking mask is dreadful in that movie. And to be honest, it felt a bit like it felt a bit like Dimension just knocking one out. Do you know what I mean? It was marketed like a Scream movie or The Faculty or something like that. It's got good moments in it, mate. And Jamie Lee Curtis is always good to watch. It's not a bad movie, mate. It didn't blow me away. It didn't blow me away, mate.
I saw that in the pictures. I had a great time watching that movie, and I still like it now. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of H20. The mask is shit, but everything around it, I think it's got some good scares in it, and it's got some good suspenseful scenes in there.
It's got some good kills as well. To be fair, it's got some good kills.
Yeah. So what number are we on now? Number 5, 4.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Halloween 2, 1980. Is my number 4.
Okay. I've got for number 4 Halloween 4.
Okay.
I enjoyed it at the time. I remember being very thirsty for it. Michael Myers is back, and Donald Pleasence is in it, still kicking around doing his Loomis thing, and it's not quite as he's not quite as knackered as he is in Part 5, right enough. But yeah,
I was thinking the exact same thing. He's not that old in that one, is he?
Yeah, exactly.
He still handle it. Yeah. Number 3, I've got Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Okay. Number 3, I've got Halloween 2. The original Halloween 2.
Okay. At number 2, I've got H20, Halloween H20.
You do love
I'm a
that
big
movie,
fan,
man.
dude.
Fair
Big
play,
fan,
fair
dude.
play. And number 2, I've got Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Okay, right. And at number 1 is Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978.
Same here. Yeah, it's a masterpiece. Can't there's no beating John Carpenter's Halloween. Absolutely.
Indeed. Yeah, it's a good ranking, that, Pete. Apart from H20, I think you've. When was the last time you watched H20 anyway?
Oh, maybe a good 7 or 8 years ago. So maybe it's one that I need to revisit.
I think you should give it a shot. I think you should
Yeah,
give it
fair
a
play,
shot.
fair play. But I'm hoping now, mate. I'm hoping now that we've done this and our 31 days of Halloween challenge is coming to an end. I certainly hope that this means that, you know, we'll never, ever have to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 ever again in our lives. Like, so, you know, we've done it for you guys out there, but never request that movie again, man. Jesus.
Right, I think let's see if we've got any comments here.
No
Dave says, I previously recommended Hunt. I'm glad you guys actually sat through it. Mad cool. I basically loved it. I give it a 8.5 out of Boosty 10.
That's high marks,
Haunt. You meant Haunt. Yeah, Haunt. Yeah. I previously recommended Haunt on here. Sorry, typos. No worries, mate. Even if I had the money, I don't know if I'd pay that much for that John Carpenter stuff. That is big bucks mentally. They sit with, it is, yeah. End of the day, it's just a piece of paper with his name on it and your name on. But some people go crazy for that kind of stuff, don't they? Dave says in the commentary on the DVD for Halloween 2, Rob Zombie said every day on his way to the office he saw a white horse on the side of the highway on a farm or something, and it stuck in his head. I wish he kept it in his head.
Every day on his way at the office, I dare say he saw fucking, you know, I don't know, a traffic warden. Doesn't mean you make the central character of the movie a traffic warden. You know, he needs to be a little bit more restrained, man. Anyway, it could be the drug.
Pete, this is my feeling after I watched Halloween 2.
Exactly, yeah.
Hassan says, if you had to, would you rather watch Paint Dry or watch Halloween 2 Rob Zombie? I think I'd probably watch the Paint Dry.
Me too.
At least I can think of something else. Yeah. Right, we're on Friday's movie, and that was Terrifier.
So, Terrifier from 2016. So this is directed by Damien Leone, who I think over the last few weeks is a name that we've all started to learn, because the guy's super mad creative, and is kind of living the dream at the moment. So the setup for this movie essentially is two girls that have been out having a good time, having a few beers, a little bit worse for wears. So they decide to jump into a pizza shop to soak up the alcohol, if you like, with food, so they're fit enough to drive home. On the way there, while they're hanging about the car, they do see Art the Clown hanging around, looking menacing and mischievous and everything like that, but mostly menacing. And then when they go into the pizza shop, who turns up? Art the Clown, who's acting very freakish, and he seems to fixate on one of the girls in particular. And then from that point on, stalking, nastiness, horror, gore all ensue. And boy, does it ensue, right enough. Yeah. So, bit of trivia about this movie. Let me see. Now, there's conflicting reports here because I read one bit of research and it states that the budget on this was 100K. And Wikipedia have this down, the budget as 35K. So make your mind up on which one you think is true. But 100K or 35K seems to be the consensus. It's one of the two.
Either way, that's impressive. That is impressive. Either way,
100%. It's based on the 2011 short film, also called Terrifier, also made by Damien Leone. And Damien Leone, for this movie, wrote, edited, directed, and did all the special effects, much as he did in Terrifier 2 as well. So a very hands-on, creative chap. And I dare say him being that hands-on helped keep the budget down and helped him get the film done. Okay, so what I liked. Yeah, definitely. What I liked, I thought the results essentially, what I like, considering its low budget, were fairly spot on. Be it 35K or 100K, every penny of the budget is on screen. Let me see. I very much like the faceless victim in this one. Do you know that lady who gets interviewed and she's had all her face cut off in this movie? I think she actually shows up in the anthology movie that we're going to talk about in a bit. But I thought she was totally scary. And, where she attacks the interviewer at the end, she's kind of clicking like a horse and that, going like that. And terrifying, man. Just absolutely terrifying. Almost as scary as Art the Clown, right enough. And then the scary thing about this movie is if that's what's happening to his victims who are surviving, they're going nuts and homicidal, then, this is like a little evil virus is going on. But yeah, I really like that. Let me see. Art the Clown. I think it's the I didn't write his name down, unfortunately, but it's the new chap who's playing Art the Clown in this one. Who's in Terrifier 2, and beforehand it was played by a different actor. I think this actor is
David Thornton something. David Allen Thornton. He's got a triple barrel name, isn't he?
That's right. And from what I gather, he'd done previous kind of mime work as well, so he just incorporated that into Art's persona and that. But he's very, very bloody good in it. Considering he can't utter a word and he's silent all the time, he uses his face to emote, all sorts, really perverted stuff, menace and everything like that.
Bit of a sense of humor as well, isn't he?
Absolutely.
His reactions and things. Got a bit of sense of humor.
Terrifier is funny in moments. There's some really sick humor in there, but it's humor nonetheless. So it does make you chuckle as well. Let me see. I put obviously Art the Clown. I really like in this movie. I thought the special effects and makeup were great. It does get quite tense. Art is scary. It's very nasty. And I put Leone is a talent who seems to be improving every movie he makes. So his quality is getting better and better and better. So it'd be nice to see where that kind of progression goes with him. What I didn't like, I thought some of the performances, from the actual actors were suspect. The tone of the movie is, and again, it's not a heavy criticism. It's just, it's not a feel-good movie, this one at all. The tone's very, very mean-spirited, for sure. And when movies are kind of that mean-spirited, they limit the viewer from having, a good time. You can't have too much of a good time when a movie is that mean-spirited. Although, like I say, there is bits of humor in it. So I didn't like the killing of the main protagonist in the movie. That made me sad because she was cool. I was on her side. But then the movie switches over to the sister halfway through, and I'd already been on this journey with what I thought was the main protagonist, and I get that, pull the rug from under your feet, the whole scream trick and all that, but it's a little bit jarring when it's 2/3 the way through the movie, and then the last third you're like, oh, he's this new character I'm going to fling at the screen. You've got to root for her now. So I don't know if that worked for me or not. Let me see. Now, previously when I'd watched this movie, I was maybe a little bit harsh on it. This is a movie that's improved for me for sure. I think if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, or a year or so ago, what I thought about this movie, I would have given it probably a 5 out of 10. Basically, on the count of that scene that I thought was over sexualized, where he cuts the girl in half. It didn't actually have that same kind of effect. I think maybe it's a shock factor that got me the first time. So it didn't have the same effect on me as it did the first time. And I actually just, especially after seeing Terrifier 2, and everything else, Art the Clown, over the last couple of weeks, you know, why would I expect anything else from Art the Clown? He's just a really disturbed fucking clown. So I had a better time with the movie on this occasion, mate. I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10. I preferred it the second time to the first time, and I think I preferred it, you know, weirdly, just after watching Terrifier 2 to get into the whole mythos and everything like that. Yeah, I think I've got a sneaking suspicion that my copy was cut. The copy that I watched seemed to be cut heavily. There's the scene, you know, with the janitor guy gets his head stoved in. There's only about one hit on that, maybe two, and I'm pretty sure on the version that I saw originally, it's proper overkill. The lady hanging upside down who gets sawn in half, you didn't see any of that on this. It's hinted at, and you hear it sourced.
I turned away when that was on, and it went on for ages, man.
Yeah,
proper,
I think
all the way through, man.
I think the copy
he's always looking at the girl to see her reaction. He spends more time looking at her, going, "Hey, have a look at this."
That's right. I think
man.
I was slightly close, mate. So, which was a bit of a shame, but yeah, like I say, mate, every penny of the budget is on screen. The guy's a talent. I look forward to seeing his next movies, mate. So, a 7 out of 10 for me, mate. What did you think?
But you prefer Terrifier 2 to this one, though, don't you?
I think so. Yeah. It's a wee bit more action packed, I
think it was just the beginning of this year the first time I saw Terrifier, so it hasn't been very long at all since I've seen it. Felt pretty much the same way. Art the Clown, like, for a dude that doesn't talk, he's got lots of personality. Definitely memorable. The movie's really corny, like the bit where she's in the car and the lassie goes off to the loo, and it comes on the radio, like an announcement saying, "Oh, someone's been killed. There's a guy on the loose," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I've seen that like a million times in movies. Yeah. That's like a proper trope." And they just put that in there, and I'm like, "Oh god, that is cheesy as anything." Yeah. But anyway, it's the movie's all about all the violent kills, and if you dig that, you'll dig the film. It was definitely overkill for me. Just goes on a bit too long. There's a bit too much. It's kind of sucked the enjoyment out of it. It just lingers just far too long, and it just goes on for too. Just But all in all, I did enjoy the movie. It's definitely impressive, like the effects. You wonder, it's set in the city where the bloody cops are.
Yeah.
Like, you think there'd be, if there was a killer on the loose, just kill two people in a pizza shop, the place would be covered in policemen looking for them, but there wasn't any anywhere. Yeah. That was
you know, it's a weird thing, mate, but I watched Terrifier and I watched Terrifier 2. Do you get Terminator vibes from Terrifier and Terrifier 2? And what I mean by that is...
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he's indestructible and he's above the law, and he doesn't give a fuck. There could be 50 coppers on the side of the road and he will do his thing. I get Terminator vibes from it, and I think, it'd be interesting to see if anybody else does, right enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit grim, and it does get a bit tiresome because it's just like one scene topping the last one for just gratuitous violence. But I like that bit where she stabs him with a nail and runs off, and Art the Clown's like, "You," the finger. He's
I tell you what, I liked about this one as well is how resourceful Art is. You know, if he that scene where he fucking, you know, she's like that with a baseball bat or the big piece of wood or whatever. She's been batting him. She's winning, and Art's just stood there like that, going, "Ooh, I'm injured," and I'm like, "Keep fucking hitting him, man! Keep hitting him!" And you know, he's dug into his left sock and pulled out a gun and fucking shoots her, and that. You know, Art. You know, do you know, like Michael Myers in the remakes? He's kitchen knife. Art will use anything he can get his hands on, including fucking guns and whatnot, and you know. All Hallows Eve, which we'll get onto in a bit, You know, he's even driving a fucking car, chasing people in that man. Fucking, I'm thinking, this guy's on it. He is the bloody Terminator. Like, but yeah.
I think his bin bag that he carries is must be magical, because I don't know about you, but I've had bin liners and they get holes in easily, and he's got so much shit in there, and I'm like, how the hell is he carrying that? And
Sharp
with sharp
objects,
objects in, and they're not falling out. He's like carrying all his weaponry in it, and I'm like, geez, he's just carrying it. It's just a bin bag. I'm like, what's that made of?
Exactly. He
How is
must
he
have
doing
been.
that?
He must have went to B&Q, mate, and bought the real thing.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. That did annoy me. I remember the first time I watched it, it annoyed me every time someone managed to get one on Art. They'd hit him once or stab him once, and they'd run off. And I'm like, finish him off. He's always coming back. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? And they hit him once, and they'll run away, and they'll get killed. I'm like, well, you should have finished him off while you had the chance. 100%. I bloody would have.
100%, man. 100%.
Yeah.
What
did you give it? 7?
I'll give it 7.
I'll give it a 6.5 because it's an impressive movie. Enjoyment wise, I'll probably give it a 6. But, there's a lot there that's it's all very well done. There's not many good slashers that have come out in the last 10 years or so. It's like old hat now, isn't it? It's like good slashers, but this one does the job. It's definitely definitely makes its mark.
100%.
So yeah, I'll give it a 6.5 just for that.
No problem, mate.
Right, so that's Terrifier.
Yes.
And we got any comments? Let's have a look. All right, Dave's got a ranking for Halloween. He says from worst to best. Worst is Halloween 2, of course it is. Then Rob Zombie's Halloween, then Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, Halloween 5, Halloween Resurrection. It's quite high. Halloween 6, H20, Halloween 4, Halloween 3, Halloween 2, Halloween.
Okay, yeah. So Dave's an old school Halloween man by the looks of that. He likes
totally.
the original movies.
Yeah. I mean, those first 3 Halloween movies, they're really good. Like I say, I've got a soft spot for H20 as well. Yeah. But the rest of them, I can give or take them. I mean,
yeah, they're very throwaway. Absolutely.
Dave says, by the way, I hope I'm not over babbling. It's my nature, I suppose, accidentally. It's just you guys cover such great subjects here with horror. It's hard not to chime in sometimes. That's what you want, mate. Just many comments as you can get in. We enjoy reading them. And so yeah, thanks, Dave, man.
Yeah.
Okay, we are on the penultimate movie, which was Saturday's movie, and that was Halloween: Season of the Witch.
Perfect Saturday night movie, this. Perfect Saturday night movie.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, so we've got, from the fantastic year 1982, 1982 was knocking it out the park as far as horror goes. So from 1982, we've got Halloween 3, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who also did, he's a bit of a sequels guy, as Tommy Lee Wallace, as far as his directing goes. Fright Night 2, Born Free 2. I didn't know there was a Born Free 2.
Born Free 2?
Yeah. And Vampires 2, the one with John Bon Jovi in.
I'm not sure I've seen that.
Tommy Lee Wallace. The setup for this movie is...
what about It? He made It, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, sorry, he made
That's worth a mention, dude.
He made
That's
it.
Worth a mention.
He made it. You're absolutely right. It was down as a TV movie, so it wasn't listed with the real movie.
It's a movie to me. It's a movie to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, he made it. Absolutely. So it is, it is probably his most successful piece movie, I would say.
I think it's the one that's the one that survived, that's got the biggest following, I would think.
I would say you're right, man. I would say you're right. So the setup for this movie is what is the setup for this crazy movie? The setup for this movie is a gentleman is pursued by 2 shadowy figures, kind of very much like the Men in Black, because you're not quite sure why. And then they attack said man and almost kill him, but not quite. This man is then sent to the hospital where his doctor, who just happens to be played by the fantastic Tom Atkins, notices that he's injured, keeps an eye on him, and then more men in black turn up and kill him rather nastily in the hospital, which makes Tom Atkins wonder, what was this guy talking about when he came in? What was he babbling? Because clearly he was under threat. Maybe I'll listen to this story. So Tom Atkins then meets this deceased person's daughter, and Tom Atkins is a bit of a sex pest in this movie, to be fair. Well, he thinks to himself, should I spend Halloween with
privately hard, does he?
No, he doesn't, because the ladies love Tom Atkins in this movie, man. And quite right, they're only human. So Tom has a choice. Shall I spend Halloween with the kids and be a good dad? Or shall I get in the car and do a road trip with this chick that I've just met and hardly know her?
His ex-wife's a mourny bitch. He just witnessed a murder and the guy getting blown up outside, and his wife's on the phone. He's like, "It's my ex-wife."
totally. But to be fair, she's got to have had a bit of mileage with Tom Atkins. I'm thinking, Tom Atkins doesn't strike me as the most faithful man in the world. So I'm thinking there's a bit of history there. Naturally, he dumps his kids, doesn't want nothing to do with them, and goes with a complete stranger across the country to investigate a murder of a man that he's only just met, in the pursuit of one thing and one thing only: this girl's booty. Nothing to do with truth or anything like that. But this girl's booty. He can't wait to get her into a hotel room. There's a great scene in this movie where he's like that going, there's only one bed. And she was like, well, you could maybe sleep in the bed if you want, because I'll just sleep in the car. You could maybe sleep in the bed if you want. And he's like, you don't want to say that to me. And she's right. She doesn't, because he'll fucking take it, and he does. So anyway, that's basically what the setup for the movie. And, but Tom naturally finds that things are quite, the shenanigans are quite scary and spooky. There's a wee conspiracy going on involving the mass production of 3 masks that are going on mass sale, that has a TV tie-in as well. And every kid in America, these are Buzz Lightyear Halloween masks. Everybody wants these Buzz Lightyear
awesome masks, man. They're so good.
Awesome masks. They're great design. But little does everybody know there is a microchip in these masks that will, on the stroke of Halloween, kill everybody that's wearing them and anybody who's in the immediate area as well. They're essentially fucking bombs, but bombs with bloody snakes and stuff like that. Really nasty stuff. Bugs, but so it's essentially an end of the world movie. Kill the youth. Kill the youth. It feels like an end of the world movie. Anyway, trivia. The budget for this was $2.5 million, which seems relatively low considering,
It does, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Box office was 14.4 million. It wasn't, it was still a profit, but it wasn't deemed a hit because of, the overwhelming audience disapproval. Where the fuck is Michael Myers in this movie? That's him. He's on the telly in the bar. What the fuck? What's meta? What does meta even mean? It's 1982. What? America? Heads blown, minds blown. Where the fuck is Michael Myers? I'm walking out the theater. Yeah, this movie's shit. Anyway, let me see. The novelization of this movie, despite the actual movie being a bit of a flop, was a hit. It became a bestseller. And it was almost, it was re-released a couple of years later as well. And again, where it became a bestseller again. So I've never read the novel, but I might do after this. Let me see. And final bit of trivia. The scene where Tom Atkins is tied up in the end, and he's got the mask on, and he has to throw the mask on the security camera. It took over 40 takes for that to get right. 40 takes. But you got it right.
I remember watching it. When I watched that, I was like... Did it, like, bloody hell! What a guy! What a talent!
Exactly. So, what I liked, I've put my first words were freaking everything. Tom Atkins is the Mac Daddy. He is the fucking Mac Daddy in this movie. I mean, everything he touches turns to shit, but it also turns to gold if it's female. They all turn to gold here. Everybody he talks to, I think there's a lady who works at the lab who's looking at parts that she soon discovers are robot parts. And as soon as she finds that out, she gets killed. It's really sad. I liked her as well. But when she's talking to Tom, you can. Ooh, it's getting hot in here, man.
He turns it on, doesn't he? He turns it on.
He
The
is
charm.
hot for Tom. I put Dean Cundy's photography in this movie is immense. This movie looks great. It's beautifully shot. One of the great things about this movie is it's a movie that had John Carpenter's blessing. He didn't want to make Halloween 2. He wasn't really that arsed about it, and that's why he killed Loomis off and Michael Myers off in the second half, to make sure that he wasn't going to get forced to make another installment of the Michael Myers saga. He wanted to make Halloween 3 as Halloween 2, i.e. different stories every Halloween, but he didn't get the opportunity. So he figured once he killed Loomis and Myers off in part 2, then he could start his vision. Unfortunately, after 2 Halloween movies of Loomis and Myers going at it, like I said, the American public, and let's face it, the world's public figured that Michael Myers was the Halloween franchise. And, they might be right. Let me see. John Carpenter's score is a thing of beauty in this movie.
Yeah,
I can actually
really good music.
I can turn away and just have the music, the movie playing in the background, and it's glorious. It's one of his best. The story is bonkers, but it's brilliant. We get mad Irishmen and Stonehenge in this movie for it's just in there. Don't ask me.
It works. The amazing thing is, it works. It all works.
It all works, mate. Absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right. The Silver Shamrock jingle is a thing of genius. They used London Bridge is Fallen Down because that music was in the public domain, so they wouldn't have to pay any royalties. And it works perfectly. Anybody who's seen Halloween 3 can sing that tune, no problem whatsoever. And it's an earworm. It stays in there after you've watched that movie. You'll be singing that shit for days. It's crazy. The masks, like you say, Vas, the masks are brilliant. The design on these things are absolutely amazing. Trick or Treat Studios sell them at the moment. They're about £60 each. I've been tempted, but then I think, 60 quid. But yeah, if you've got a spare,
that's very overpriced.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But they're exact replicas, used from the mold from the movies. Trick or Treat Studios, 60 quid a piece, though. Never mind. Let me see. The misfire scene. I really love the misfire scene.
Me too, man.
It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. She's got no mouth. Where's your mouth, pet? You had a mouth a second ago. Now it's not there. Oh, wait there. What's that? It's a spider coming out of the mouth. Two.
That's my favorite scene in the movie. In the whole movie, that's my favorite scene in the movie. I always wait for that scene because it's awesome, man. Yeah, misfire. Yeah.
And what I like about the misfire series is the aftermath. It's Tom Atkins looking outside his window, going, "We were just talking to her. Look, they're carrying her off. I think she's fucking dead. Like, that's not good. That's not good. We should probably go." And then turns around and sees the girlie half naked. We should stay. That's a total change of heart. If there's booty, I'm gonna stay. so he stays to service that booty. All right, okay, what else? Oh yeah, put down here, Tom thinking with his dick all the way through this movie it's brilliant. And like I say, drinking game for Halloween 3. Take a drink every time Tom Atkins makes a really poor decision based on his dick. And you will be pissed by the end of this movie.
We've all done it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I put the robots. I love the robot. What the fuck is up with all the robots in this movie? Like androids, just fucking all over the place, and that the people getting replaced all over the place. It's like we've got Stonehenge, we've got mad masks, we've got crazy Irishmen. It needs something. Robots. Yes, fuckloads of robots. Brilliant. But I love the robots. Mr. Cochran. I love Mr. Cochran. He's just that right level of, I'm going to say it, mate. No, I better not say it's the C word. But he's that right level of bastardy. He's got the bastard level down and that. You know what I mean? He's looking at them going like that. Everybody he talks to, even when he's nice, you can tell he's got that little bit of disdain.
Bad intentions.
I hate you. Yeah, absolutely. And also, mate, that nasty family massacre in that movie. And that's a tough scene to watch still to this day. Like, as much as I think this movie is such a fun romp, when it goes nasty, it goes nasty and dark. And that family massacre is just really a sight to behold. It genuinely is disturbing, and it genuinely is horrifying. It's a horrifying scene. Okay, didn't like. And the only thing I've wrote here, mate, is didn't like my 12-year-old self for not liking this movie, because I was one of those Muppets who said,
"Oh yeah,
where the fuck is Michael Myers? Fuck this movie," right? It was
slasher. It's not a slasher. I don't want to watch it.
I know. Fuck 12-year-old me. Fuck you, Peter, and your 12-year-old self. I would say I finally kind of woke up to this movie, I would say, when I was about 20, and I've loved it ever since, mate. I watch it quite a lot. I think this year alone, I've probably sat through it 3 times. The 4K transfer of this movie it's just beautiful. It's a sight to behold. Yeah, mate, it's fantastic, and that John Carpenter score comes through beautiful on it. I've given this movie a 9 out of 10. I love this movie, mate. This one's a solid one for me. Over to you, Vas.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I wrote most of the same things you have. It's a great looking film. The widescreen is used brilliantly. I've written there Dean Cundy's cinematography, JC's score, awesome masks. The kills, every single kill in the movie is just top notch. Yeah, really good kills. Whatever else have I written? The badge scene, the misfire, the demonstration, where the family gets killed. All absolutely just brilliant all the way through. Did you see the goof? I only noticed it this time I watched it. Did you see the goof with the camera?
Tell me more.
I'll show you, mate. I've got it for you, just so you can see it. Have a look. See if you can see the camera.
Wow.
Do you see it on the right-hand side of the screen? It's like half green.
Yeah, I've never seen that before, mate, until you just pointed that out. Wow. I think it's because I've never seen that before, because I'm just mesmerized with Tom Atkins, and I go, what's he gonna do? All they had to do was put a chick on the top of that building, mate, and he'd have been up it like a fucking like Spider-Man. But I've never seen that before, mate. That's a pretty horrific goof as well, to be fair.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's just there all the time. Tom Atkins is just he's like a brilliant hero in this movie. And I love the ending. Let me just put it on one more time. That scene at the end is wicked, man.
It is, and I like.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
I was going to say I like the fact that he gets on the phone to Mr. TV Man and says, "Hey, Mr. TV Man."
Like they own all the stations, apparently.
Yeah. Can you do me a favor? No, you don't know me from Adam. Can you do me a favor though and just turn off the transmission on every single channel? Why? Trust me, something really bad's going to happen. Well, why didn't you say so, mate? No problem. Poof, off. But it's still on channel 2. Oh, sorry, no problem. I own that channel as well. Thanks, Mr. TV Man. Thanks, Mr. TV Man. Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. but I love it. I love his screaming, and then he breaks the fourth wall right at the end and goes,
"Yeah,
it is!" He's like, "Stop it, finish!" Like that. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I love the little clips of Halloween in there where they're trailing the Halloween going to be on that night. That's such a night, and they have the Halloween music on there as well. It's like the best of both worlds, man. I don't know what there is not to like about it.
They use the music on that essentially his escape scene, and it to great effect. It works perfectly in that scene. Awesome film.
I'll give it a 9 as well, Pete. It's a terrific film. Absolutely, just spot on film.
Like that.
I've always liked it. I've never not liked this movie, but I like it more now than I did when I was a kid. It's just an enjoyable movie. It's just fun all the way through. Yeah. And it's just like so atmospheric, and I think it's probably the most Halloweeny, vibey film, even more so than the first one. I reckon. Like where you see all the kids where they go to all the different cities, and they show that little montage, and they show all the kids going like it's dusk. And all the kids are going, and the music's on, and I mean that's like that sequence there is like that is Halloween. That is
Yeah.
just what you think about on Halloween, like what you
Totally.
wish it'd be like. But yeah, it's brilliant.
No, absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree with you more.
It's crazy as it gets at the end. I mean, I don't know how he figured out that plan there when he got all the badges and chucked them over the top, and it all started. Just this weird thing happened, and big lights and all things. Oh no, it was like
I'll tell you what happened.
I like when Cochrane looks up at him and does that.
Yeah,
like well done.
Exactly.
You followed my plan.
Exactly. I'll tell you what happened there, mate. I'll tell you what happened there. So it was the same meeting with the robots where he's like, yeah, robots, yes, fantastic. But it's still missing something. What could it be missing? He's like, you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, yeah? With all the lasers, shooty, yeah? With all the Nazis. Good bit, that, innit? Let's put that in the movie. Fucking yes! It's in the movie. This is going to be the best movie ever. Yes! So I think that's how it happened, because it's straight out of Raiders, that fucking movie.
It is, yeah. You're totally right. I never thought of that, but you're absolutely right.
Straight out of Raiders.
Yeah. And the daughter, she comes back so many times after you figure out she's a robot, and she just comes back like they've done that in loads of movies. It's like Child's Play at the end of Child's Play, when Chucky comes back like 5 times. He's just not dead, and the same thing happens with her. She just keeps coming back. Her arms there, and
she's like the ever ready bunny. She just doesn't stop. Like, you know, I mean, to a point. I would say, you know, if I had anything negative at all to about this movie, I would probably say that scene is a little bit over long, because she just doesn't stop coming back. Like you're almost rolling your eyes at the end of the scene. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, she's not fucking dead yet. You know what I mean? But still, it's minor gripe. Yeah. It's brilliant.
And the play is like a jump scare each time. But like, I think after the first time you watched it, there's no scares in there at all.
Totally.
Yeah, but yeah, for atmosphere and stuff. I mean, that movie, like, it's there's not many that can beat that. But just complete Halloween atmosphere.
Agreed.
Yeah. So yeah, top notch film. I think that is the best movie of this week.
For me, it is. Yeah. For me, it is easily.
Easily. Yeah. Right, we're on the last movie, Pete. Is there any? Let's just quickly see if there's any more. But actually, there's one there I think I missed. It says for me, it's Halloween Part 2, 3, and then Part 4. Even though I hate the mask, I don't remember the mask being that bad in Part 4. Then H20, then Part 6, then Resurrection Part 5, Halloween 2018, and then Rob Zombie's Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah, it's a very low bar on that second half of the Halloween franchise. Yeah. Dave says the nitpick also of the shooting masks in Part 4 and 5. I think 5 has worse masks than Part 4. The 5 one, it's not even doesn't even look like Michael Myers. Like the whole shape of the face is completely wrong.
Yeah. The
Myers falls in the water
gradually
again in
worse.
Part 5. He gets out of the water. He has longer hair, and the mask's nose is bigger. How does that happen? Exactly. How does that happen? It's been a long time since I've seen Part 5. Actually, I should give 5 and 6. I think is the ones I've seen least. I remember watching Part 4 like not very often, but like I've watched it every once in a while, and it's like it's one of the movies that kind of does the job. It's entertaining enough, just about cuts the mustard.
It's Part 4 the one
5 straight after, and then it's like I don't think I started watching 5 and I thought I don't want to watch this.
Is Part 4 or is it Part 5 the one where a guy comes in with a machine gun at the end and kills all the coppers?
That might be Part 5 because I don't remember
Part 5, yeah. Some weird cult or something like that. Yeah, fair enough.
I think the Thorn Cult is 5 and 6. The Thorn Cult, which is just
right.
Almost like that's the sort of idea Rob Zombie would come up with. It's
True.
that shit.
True.
Hassan says, I feel like while producing this film, they were on every drug trying to shove everything into it, and it worked. Yeah, that's the genius, isn't it? That's where the genius lies, to get put all these different aspects together, and it just works. It doesn't happen very often, does it? Right, let's move on to this final movie, and it was All Hallows Eve 2013, anthology film.
Yeah, okay. So All Hallows Eve 2013. Again, it's another movie directed by Damien Leone. So the setup for this movie is essentially this lady who is babysitting, who looks far too old to be a babysitter, by the way. She is babysitting these two adorable children, and she's been out trick-or-treating. And
They're not adorable, Pete. They're annoying as fuck.
That was me just trying to be professional.
All right. Okay.
They were dickheads, like, to be fair. Right. In the little boy's trick-or-treat sack, they discover that somebody, they don't know who, has given them a VHS tape to watch. So quite wisely, I thought, the babysitter sends the kids out of the room and says, well, let me check the tape first before I show you, you know, what could be donkey porn. It could be anything on this tape. It could be anything. It could be fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So, you know, I'd rather stick with the donkey porn, to be fair. So she checks the tape out, and in the first couple of minutes, nothing really sadistic happens. So she goes, I'm sure it'll be fine, kids. Come back in and let's sit through and watch this entire random video cassette, and I'm sure nothing bad or gratuitous will be on this tape. So they watch the movie, and the movie contains, I think, 3 tales of horror, with the babysitting storyline being the wraparound segment to this movie. And that's the setup for the movie. So a bit of trivia for this. The first and the third short film on the VHS tape were films made by director Damien Leone, but they were made years previously. So he's cheated a little bit for this movie. Okay. So the first is called The Ninth Circle from 2008, and the third is the original Terrifier short from 2011. So a little bit naughty there, I think, that one. You know, it's essentially he's making a movie to showcase his
I never knew that.
Yeah. A little bit naughty, but hey, what the hell? So what I liked the wraparound segment for this movie. You know, it made sense while they were watching it, you know, and I bought into it, you know, and I quite liked the babysitter character as a character. She was quite a nice person. So that worked for me. And using the VHS tape as a storytelling device, I like that. Again, Art the Clown is, you know, suitably scary, but not as impactful as he is in the standalone movies. You know, we've got a different actor this time playing Art the Clown, and while not you being,
can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's got a fatter face. You know, he just doesn't carry it off as well as the new guy does. You know, but still, you know, he's not bad either. But yeah. It is quite jarring because it's not quite as good as the new guy. So let me see. Right, okay. What the hell did I? All right, okay. I wrote a comment here that I absolutely cannot read or work out. Right, so I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to go to what else did I like, rather than just read it. Do you know what? It was suitably cruel. I thought some of the kills were quite memorable, and the violence was quite, you know, sadistic and everything like that. So, you know, from a horror film, it kind of ticks those carnage boxes. But, you know, Damien Leone's, you know, always ticks those boxes anyway. But, you know, from what we've seen of him so far, and I'm sure he's pretty hands-on with the makeup and everything like that as he was before. So what I didn't like, I put, the actor playing Art the Clown just wasn't as good as his replacement. I thought the alien sequence was beyond fucking stupid, by the way. Beyond fucking laughable. Like, it's like, hey, I want you to be an alien, man. My math's not very convincing, though, is it, Damien? Well, listen, don't worry. It's all about the way you move. Just do something, you know, move. Okay, no problem. What about this? Ooh, ooh. What do you mean, like disco? Yeah, that's perfect, man. That's perfect.
It did look like he was dancing, didn't it? Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
Get it in the movie.
It looked like he had a leotard on as well.
Exactly. It was dreadful, mate. It was dreadful. I thought other poor points. It's distinctly cheap looking, but it probably was really cheap. So I can't really give it too much stick. But it is a really cheap looking film. This, you know,
I've noticed that on all his movies. You know, when they show something on the TV, and you can tell it's not on the TV. They put it on there afterwards. The same thing was on Terrifier as well. Like when he's watching the TV at the beginning, and I'm like, that's not on the TV. They've just chucked it on there, and they did the exact same thing in this one. Yeah, it looks terrible.
Absolutely.
I could do that.
No, exactly. Well, I put down here, it's not a very well-made movie. You know, like I say, I think this guy's skills are getting better as he makes movies, and I think this one is probably, you know, from a time when before he's learned certain techniques that he's learned now. You know, the flow of this movie is also quite sporadic as well. And I put, you know, unfortunately, it's quite a dull movie. You know, it's quite dull, this film, and it's you know, it's never scary. Although, you know, Art the Clown, you know, has a presence, but I wasn't really scared at all in this movie.
Same can be said for Terrifier and Terrifier 2, mate. They're not scary films. He's creepy, but the films aren't scary.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, I really like the wraparound segment in this. I thought that was the bit that worked overall for me. But you know, even the short films, even the old Terrifier short movie, whilst it had its qualities and stuff like that, it wasn't as good as the standalone stuff. And
made no sense. He just kept popping up everywhere, didn't he? He was just there.
Well, that's it.
No rhyme or reason, just there.
He's a wee bit more supernatural in this. You know, and you think, well, is he supernatural or is he a force of nature? You know, make up your mind type of thing. And like I say, in this movie, he even pops up driving a car, doing a fucking drive-by and that. And you're like, what is this guy? You know, he can't be a ghost. Well, he must be a ghost because he's there on the side of the road when he shouldn't be there. And you're like, what? So I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10, mate. It wasn't dreadful. But it was, you know, it felt like a student film. It felt like a student film.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same wavelength as you, Pete. It was fine. It was all right. It was watchable. I'm happy I watched it. I don't think I'll be going back to it again. I noticed that he likes his tropes. That Damien, what's his face? There's that the other trope of they're always watching Night of the Living Dead on the TV. How many movies have you watched? Horror films where they're watching Night of the Living Dead on the TV. It's like every other horror film, if they're watching TV,
I think that is because that movie's in the public domain, so you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay rights to show it.
Yeah, I think it's totally overused now, though. Totally overused. I think. I didn't like any of the stories really. None of them had an ending to them. They just stopped. Like I either stopped the tape or the tape just just stopped showing it. So none of the stories had like an ending to them. They just kind of just stopped, which I thought was a bit of a cop out. They could have at least had like some sort of resolution or something. I didn't need a reason why it's happening or whatever, but at least have an ending to the stories. But none of the stories would they just stopped, and I didn't like that very much. Have a look. That alien one was bad. That was just bad all the way through. I couldn't even work out. Took me a while to even work out it was about aliens, because it was like you saw light outside, and I'm thinking, is it aliens? It's not aliens. Just until they showed the aliens, I'm like, oh fucking hell, is that an alien? This is bad, man. This is so bad.
It was.
And the Art the Clown one, he was. I don't know. He was the same Art the Clown, wasn't he? Like he still had the bin liner with him and everything.
Yeah.
That bin liner that was so strong that holds everything that he needs.
Exactly.
But you know what it is? I like the ending. The way how it came out the TV. I like that bit. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And the very, very ending where he kind of looks like he's going to come out the TV at the viewer. I thought that was a nice little that bit.
You're right. When she keeps turning around and he's not there. I did like that bit, Vess. You're right. That was a good creative bit of film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you want to see in like these anthology things, like to tie things up. And so the wraparound was good, but the rest of it, I didn't like the stories very much at all. But yeah, it was fine viewing. Nothing wrong with it. I can see why out of everything in that anthology, the only thing that came back was Art the Clown. I mean, that makes complete sense.
Definitely.
The rest of it, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much
What
that's
you
all I
giving
wrote. So yeah,
What you
I'll
giving
give it
that
a 5. Did you give it a 5? Did you?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
Yep.
give it a 5 as well. It was fine. Not wrong with it. Some of the stories. That's the thing about anthologies, man. They're very hit and miss. I mean, this one only had like 3 stories, but 2 of them weren't very good. But the wraparound made up for it. Yeah,
Definitely, man.
yeah. And that was today's movie, wasn't it?
That
Even though I
was
didn't watch
today.
it today. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a hit or miss week with the movies. I'm happy we got Halloween 3 in there. A couple of others I could have done without, to be honest, especially the Rob Zombie ones, and this one maybe as well. But yeah, it was fine. Good way to end this challenge.
Yes.
Right. So Pete, it's the 30th of October. Tomorrow is Halloween.
Yes.
Are we still doing the watch party for Halloween tomorrow?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll have to figure out between now and then how exactly we're going to do it. But anyone who's watching who wants to join in, Halloween is showing on pretty much every streaming site you can think of. You'll find Halloween there, so you shouldn't have much trouble finding that movie. I'm probably just going to download it and stick it in the corner of the laptop here and watch it at the same time. But yeah, that'll be good. Let me see if there's any comments.
No problem.
Dave says I got to see Halloween 3 in the theaters. As we already know, I'm 52 nowadays.
I was getting worried, Dave. To be fair, I was thinking we've been on a couple of hours.
You mention it, or was he going to mention it?
Totally.
You drop it in there. We appreciate that. And Dave says he's read the book as well.
Oh,
Well done. I might check that out as well. Actually, I'm looking for something for. I've got a free trial from Audible. I might see if that's on there. I'm always out for a good story.
No problem.
Yeah, that is it. So yeah, it was not as long as the last week. Last week we have overran a little bit, but yeah. So thanks to everyone who dropped by, everybody in the chat, especially Dave. Yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow's going to be busy. I think a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of things tomorrow night. But if you can fit us in, we shall be watching John Carpenter's Halloween, the masterpiece that it is. And yeah, that's going to be a good time. You ready for that, Pete?
I'm always ready for John Carpenter's Halloween. Always ready for it, mate. But yeah, looking forward to it, man.
That's the way to do it.
Looking forward.
All right, so we'll be here same time tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Is that all right with you, Pete?
It's fine. Can I just say as well, please like and subscribe and share this, please. Vasi needs his sports car. And, if his growth continues the way it's going at the moment, I reckon we'll have his sports car for him, this time next year. So make Vas rich, please. Please make Vas rich. Share and subscribe.
Yeah, do that. I would really appreciate it. I'm on 676. So I was on 627 last Sunday. So I'm one shy of 50 subs this week. So that's nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a nice Halloween surprise. God bless Halloween month, because everything goes quiet in November until next Halloween.
Yes,
but yeah. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you soon. In about 24 hours, less than
24 hours. Exactly.
So yeah, so everyone have a good Halloween. We're gonna have a good time tomorrow. Please join us. Thanks for stopping by. I've been Vas, and this is
Pete.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you all. Thank you for having us, Vas.
It's always a pleasure, Pete. Take it easy, people.